Alright, guys, welcome back. Go talk to Uncle. Oh, actually, we'll do this one because it's right
You
here.
should have seen. Welcome back, Sid.
Welcome back, Sid.
Yes. Welcome back. Trip wasn't too much of a pain in the arse, I hope. Truth be told, it was me who suggested roping you in to help with the trial. But from what I hear, things didn't go quite as planned.
No, they most certainly did not. Ember lost his nerve in the face of a beast of prey, but he didn't lose heart. He pressed on, and he achieved his aim. And is that not what we ask of our scouts?
Indeed it is. Thank you for your honest appraisal, Sid. The fact remains, however, that Ember will not always have a battle-hardened warrior on hand to pluck him from the jaws of peril. All I have gleaned from this trial is that without someone watching his back, Ember is little more than a liability.
Wait, Sergeant. Ember still has much to learn, it's true. And this time he was found wanting. But I'd say he's due a second chance, nonetheless. After all, he did do as you asked.
With a bit of hard work, any hand can be made to hold a blade, and any mind can conquer its fears. But a scout's nose is different. You've either got one, or you ain't. And by sniffing out that log, young Ember here has shown he has a conch and a half. Wouldn't do to waste it now, would it?
Fine. One more chance.
I'll do whatever you ask. I'll spend my days and nights in the pit if I have to. I'll show you. Just you wait.
Daft as a brush, that one. But his heart's in the right place. Just like someone else we know. And if you ask me, we've been leaning on him for far too long. That time the curse breakers took some of the weight off his shoulders, I reckon.
It couldn't hurt.
Just don't tell Gav I said so, will you? I won't have him thinking he's been hard done by. Next thing you know, he'll be asking for a day off. Chance would be a fine thing. Back to work.
Yes, sir.
Forgive me, Sid. This did not play out as I expected.
Things rarely do these days. But that's why we need men like Ember more than ever. Men who can make the best out of a bad situation. Remember that.
I will, Sid. Thank you.
There's something about it.
Uncle, I bring good news. The Field Marshal has agreed to your plan.
Ha! Of course he has. I didn't doubt you for a moment, dear boy.
Rutherford is accompanying him back to your manor in Port Isolde as we speak. They will await your return there. As will one other.
One other? Who, exactly?
Lord Havel was concerned that even if he could get the realm's armies to agree to an accord, he might not be as successful in convincing those with political power. He asked if I might have a solution, and I suggested a certain Imperial Lord Magistrate turned Liberator.
One of your co-conspirators?
Master Quinton would probably call me one of his, but yes.
Another outlaw, then. Just the thing we need to put these rotten politicos in their places. Good thinking, Clive.
I'm glad you approve.
The more the merrier, eh?
Uncle, assuming Havel and Quinton can solve our problem with the armies, you still haven't mentioned how we might manage the grain shortages.
Oh, don't you worry, my boy. The 7 high houses will be seeing to that. They have all agreed to make the most generous of donations. Oh, of course, it did take a little persuasion, but luckily I had some unexpected help.
From who?
Why, you, my boy. rumor has it that you rescued the Lady Ariane's head steward Rockford from a horde of bloodthirsty bandits.
It was more of a handful.
Well, the old battle axe was so pleased. She had a shipload of talents delivered to my private docks by the next new moon. And when the other houses saw the parsimonious old crone's purse strings finally loosen, they as good as tripped over themselves in the rush to follow suit.
I'm happy to hear it.
Now, I must be getting back to the manor. Join us there at your earliest convenience, would you?
Of course, Uncle.
And how, pray tell, will we get that grain to the capital if the roads are still overrun with a
This is why I wanted to leave it for last. But hey, it is what it is.
I have so many men, and I'm not about to send them headlong into an ether flood. That is, unless you'd have them turn as well.
Well, I'd certainly eat less.
Says the man with a belly bigger than a band of curls. My soldiers actually need their rations. Without any food to keep them going, they'll be dead even before you've sent them on your fool's errand.
If I may, gentlemen, perhaps I might suggest an alternative approach. Though supply routes are indeed disrupted, there is no shortage of ships. Indeed, they bob away in every bay from here to Randalar, awaiting a safe haven. Allow them to make port and fill their bellies full of grain. And once those who crowd the cities are fed, ferry the displaced back to the countryside to work the fallow fields. But I'm sure that you wish to continue your discussion. Forgive the interruption. Two such firm friends as yourselves need no help from the likes of me. Rutherford spoke fondly of the great bond between you.
Us? Friends?
I can't stand the man.
Clive, I'm beginning to question the quality of the company you keep.
And what kind of company were you expecting him to keep? The man's a criminal.
Criminal? How dare you? You are not fit to breathe the same air as this fine, upstanding young gentleman.
Upstanding? He calls himself Sid the Bloody Outlaw.
Once more onto the breach.
Shall we begin again? What we seek here is not to create a new nation, nor to claim the thrones of those that already exist. We wish simply to bring stability to the realm that mankind might weather the current storm. And to do that, we must convince those in power, the generals, the statesmen, the nobles, that our cause is just. There will be disagreements, yes, and I imagine some resistance, much resistance. But we cannot let that deter us. If we show them the path, show them that we walk it ourselves, then I am confident they will follow. The fate of the world lies in my nephew's hands, but the well-being of her people lies in ours. And we must not squander the chance that Clive has given us.
Uncle Byron,
Now, with that settled, let's move on to the signing of the Accord. For what great moment in history hasn't been accompanied by a little ceremony? Citizens of Valisthea, I present to you the Triunity. Rutherford, Mike Will. Well, my boy, the stage is set.
that it is.
At least it brought us back.
This is the role you were born for. Now I ask only that you trust in the talents of your supporting cast. We shall play our parts to the best of our abilities, that you might have the opportunity to shine. The realm needs its Sir Crandall, and there is no better Crandall than you, Clive. I want you to keep this signed accord as proof of our faith in you.
I will. Thank you, Uncle.
The Tri-Unity Accord. The Breath of Darkness, Heaven's God. Reduces Heaven's God cooldown time by 2.5 seconds.
Sorry, can't take you where you need to get to, but the Argo and me will be waiting when you get back.
What do you think that thing
Oh, we've got 2 side quests. Oh, it's a Gav side quest.
You alright? About that.
Anything I can do to help you kill this ultimate bloat? You just say the word, eh? You could promise to take Sid's name off my hands.
Aye!
Don't even joke about that anyway. I thought you said you hadn't finished with it yet. I did, didn't I? Now, if you wanted to give me an even grander title, something to rival your Sid the Outlaw, that'd be a different story. Let's see. Gav the Magnificent, Gav the Almighty, Gav the Lionheart. Oh, Gav the Lionheart. Oh, okay. That's definitely a reference to Final Fantasy VIII. Something along those lines. I'll leave that to you to decide. I'm sure you're more than capable of choosing the perfect moniker for Sid's right-hand man. Right-hand man, eh? I'll take it.
Something troubling you?
No more than usual. It's just... Eda's baby will be coming soon, and I wanted to make something for it.
I'm sure she'd like that.
Back in the north, families would always make gifts when a bairn was on the way. Yeah, let the little tykes know they were welcome in their new homes, like.
So, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that Eda's due any day now, and I don't know if I'll be ready in time.
Is there anything I can do to help?
You know,
Am I going to need to get stuff from Waloed?
Alright then.
From her home
What
or something?
exactly are we making?
A good luck charm. But not just any good luck charm.
Not just any.
No. One made from the feather of a silver chocobo. There's naught luckier in all the realm, or so we used to say back home anyway. Thing is, they're hard to come by. Had Otto and Karen check with their suppliers, but nothing. I'd try and track one down myself, only...
Only the big day is fast approaching. And that's all you need. A feather.
That or
Hunt
the bird
time.
whose horse it's attached to, aye. I was gonna start by asking around with traveling traders plying the northern borders.
Well, there's no shortage of those passing through Martha's. I think I might make that my first port of call. I'll let you know if I find anything.
You're a good friend, Clive. I won't forget this.
Alright, let's go pick up that quest in our room. Quite a few stuff to read here. A fine hound. The two of you have been together for what probably feels like a lifetime now, but there's still a lot you have to learn about that hound of yours, eh? He'd step in front of a bloody raging behemoth if it meant protecting you. But that don't mean you shouldn't take him for granted. That don't mean you should take him for granted. At the end of the day, he's a hound, and sometimes he just wants someone to pat his head and rub his belly and give him a handful of kupo nuts. You do good to remember that, Karen. That which conquers all. Here, not long removed from the last you placed yourself between us and peril, I sit and pen yet another letter in which I try and find the words to somehow express the gratitude of an entire town. Still, something feels different about our latest triumph. Where in the past we learned ever so heavily upon your good graces, this time we found strength elsewhere in ourselves. Our hardships has shown us that which should have been apparent all along. We are not as different as we want to believe. Does a peasant love his homeland any less than a noble? Does a bearer love his family any less than another man does? his own. It is this love that has united us and given us true strength. Should every should every thrall, Akashic bandit, and brigand in the realm come charging our gates, we will not fret, we will not falter, we will fight, and we will win. Isabel. That was a mean bird. A new day. I'm not so foolish to believe that a single shaming at the hands of the town urchins can dispel a lifetime of hatred built up in one's heart, just as a pot cannot be made clean by reminding it of its grime. It takes effort, persistence, and more often than not, a stiff brush and bucket of lye. But more than that, it takes time. Fortunately, your courage and leadership has granted us just that. You must now decide whether to embrace or to waste it. A wise man once said, "The night is always darkest before the dawn." It is a good thing then I can count on who burns so bright amongst my friends. One who burns so bright amongst my friends, Lubor. That's the one we read. Concern for Jill. Though her icon brought her much suffering, the loss of Shiva weighs heavy on her heart. And we'd be poor friends indeed if we did not seek to lighten that burden, even but only a fraction before we depart for skies. I would speak on this more in private. First, we gotta help her out.
If Joshua's worried about Jill, I should go and speak with him.
The wages of fate. Do you remember what you told me that night at Phoenix Gate? That while the fate of Rosaria sits on my shoulder, the fate of its dominance sits upon yours. But are we not both dominants of fire? Does not the flame of our forebears burn in both our hearts? Should I not protect you as you have protected me? You have chosen to be my shield. Now let me choose to be yours. It is not what our father wanted, what Sid wanted, to cast aside fate and forge our own paths. Grant me this, Clive. Let me be your strength, Joshua. Aw, thanks, little brother. Let's go turn in the mid-quest.
Say what you will. Lady Karen seems...
Gotta remember to go hit those other trials and attempt the Odin trial again too as well. I forgot. I've been looking over here. There's quests over here in Waloed. I just remember that guy asked us to go get the stuff. Oh, wait. Nobody's tool. That leads us to the Balm of Dark. The little Coliseum looking thing.
Mid, tell me this is all you need.
You make it sound like I asked you to save the world or something.
Tell me this is all you need.
It's most of what I need. After you left, I went over the figures again, and I realised I'd forgotten a 1 and a 0.
And
a cogwheel. Just a tiny one. Though that's the problem. Gears that small are a bastard to make, and I may have lost the one Blackthorn spent a fortnight toiling over.
wait. The children. When they took apart your scales, there was a tiny brass gear. Now that I think about it, they didn't use it when we put the scales back together.
The young'uns? But why would the... You know what? I don't want to know. I'll keep working on the model. You go and find that cog.
Has Midadol mentioned a new project yet?
Sid! Is Mid still hiding from us?
She wasn't hiding. She's fine. She's just busy working on her next project.
A new invention? What is it? What is it? Is it an airship? I bet it's an airship!
Do you think she'll let us help?
That just so happens to be why I'm here. She needs something special, something only you three can provide. A brass gear. A tiny one. One that might fit on, say, a set of scales?
Oh, the one you forgot! We remember!
We saved it, just in case. It's in the bag of bits.
Since your lesson, we've been disassembling, then reassembling.
Oh, there you go,
everything we
kid.
can find. All the pieces that are left over, we keep under our beds, just in case.
That's
That's
good to know.
that's not. There shouldn't be bits and pieces left over when
I
reassembled.
found it! Is that all? Just the gear? We have more parts if Mid needs them.
That's all for now. But I'll let Mid know about your hoard. Just in case.
Thanks, Sid.
Well, did they have it?
They did. And they kept it somewhere nice and safe. Will it work?
Will it work? It's perfect! You're a genius, Clive.
What exactly are you going to use it for?
Only the most important job of all. The wings aren't going to move on their own, but with the right cog in the right place, well, you just wait and see. That should do it. Here goes nothing.
Almost there.
Titan's tits.
It wasn't supposed to fly, was it?
Of course it was supposed to fly. Wouldn't be much of an airship if it didn't. Honestly, these bloody engines are driving me mad. I was so sure this would be the day she soared. The mithril engine was made to make dreams come true. But maybe this is one dream the world's better off without. Show folk how to take flight, and it won't be long till they're raining death down on each other. People will lose their homes, children, their mums and their dads. Like I lost mine.
I'm sorry.
So am I, Clive. So am I. Sorry that I have to choose. Do I follow my head, or do I follow my heart?
Good question. The first time I stood on the deck of your ship, felt the wind in my hair. It was like I was flying. But imagine how it would feel to actually do it.
My dad always said there were two ways of living life. Chasing a dream or shuffling to your grave. And he were right. Right about a lot of things. Not that I like to admit it. People need dreams to chase. Especially in a world like this. Right. When this is over, I'm gonna take all my mithril engines to Zemeckis and sling them over the edge. I won't have my dream end up turning into someone else's nightmare.
But all that hard work...
All that hard work will not be used for war, Jamie. But it ain't like it'll be gone. Tell me, Clive, have you ever been on a treasure hunt?
Not since Joshua and I were boys. Why do you ask?
Because I'm gonna bury the engine schematics and leave behind a little riddle telling people where to find them. A really hard one, so that only the most dedicated dreamers will ever be able to work it out.
Wow.
Ooh, I can picture it now. Some daft general squinting at the words with a gormless expression on his mug. Like that one, yeah.
Right.
Of course, if I'm putting this engine at the end of a treasure hunt, I'll still need to make it a treasure worth hunting for. Won't be much of a prize if it couldn't even make a toy boat fly after all. My dad always said, dream big. But it ain't the size of a dream that's important, is it, Clive? Only that it's a good one. And I reckon I've got a fair few good uns left in me.
I'm sure you do.
She basically tried to make like a helicopter boat. Alright. Let's go talk to Joshua. Then we'll head to Waloed and hit all those. I completely forgot about the stuff going down in Waloed. I guess we'll read the hunts. Maybe they might. Some of them might be in Waloed as well. Or the two, I mean. I said something. Alright. The Grim Reaper. Cape Orzier, Sambrique. Okay, so one's in Sambrique. Oh, they're both in Sambrique. There's a saying among the Imperial soldiers of the North Reach garrison, steer clear of the drowned tower, lest the spectre stickle reap your root. They speak typically uncouth terms of the thrall that dwells within the ether flood, one whose frightful aspect and command over lesser minions would appear to mark him as a high-ranking member of his species. Knight of the Splendent Heart. Most pilgrims to the holy capital of Orphan pass through the Penitent's Gate on the road from the Royal Meadow of late. However, a knight in shining armor has elected to station himself beside this entrance, accusing any and all passers-by of being Cid, the outlaw, the one who led Prince Dion down the path of destruction and challenging them to a duel to the death. Okay. Both in Sambrique. Oops, I forgot the locations. Alright, Cape Orsier and the Penitent's Gate. Okay. I knew there was going to be a fight here eventually. Okay, and the gate.
Joshua, I read your message. You're right. Jill is different. I don't think I'd realized how different, but since we returned from Drake's spine, I've felt it more and more.
I suppose it's not hard to imagine why.
She doesn't think she belongs anymore.
And that's why we need to remind her she is still one of us. To let her know that we still need her, now more than ever. That you still need her. But how to do that? When last we were truly close, we were but children.
Of course. Do you remember the time we accompanied Father on his annual tour of the Duchy? And Jill and I broke from the procession to ride up Man's Hill.
To see the snow daisies, I remember. It was the first time Father had allowed us to join him. And when he realized you were missing, he had the entire retinue down to the pot boys combing the countryside.
In the rain. A thunderstorm forced us to take refuge in a grove of oaks before we'd even made it halfway there. It was the Lord Commander who finally found us, and needless to say, he was none too pleased.
Then it seems you and Jill have unfinished business. What do you say?
Man's Hill. It's not that far.
Oh, true. Though I suspect it is also much changed. Little in southern Rosaria remains as it was when we were children.
You're saying I should go and scout the area for bandits?
I'm saying we should first go and see if there are actually still any snow daisies left. What would you do without me, Clive?
Do you think they'll...
Alright. We're gonna head to Waloed. What the hell? I never noticed another path over here that I can remember. Actually, yeah, we'll go to Waloed. Ah, okay, so this is open now. Duty Undying 2. And we have Nobody's Tool, Litany of Errors, and Inconvenient Truth. We'll start here. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next part.